book out. He's Mark Dice, and we, by the way, are offering it at Infowars.com. He is in our film Truth Rising. Burma's interviewed him as one of the main experts in his upcoming film Invisible Empire. And if you want to know how activism is done, writing books, running a website, going out with street actions, going out to universities, bullhorning, showing how ignorant the public is to tyranny, Mark Dice does it as good as it's done. And we can all learn something from Mark Dice and his new book, The New World Order, Fact and Fiction, available at Infowars.com, along with the other 3 books that Mark has authored and published. I guess that's 4 books now, if memory serves, that we offer that Mark Dice has put out. 1 he republished, 3 he's written. And so he is with us today for the balance of the hour. For stations that just joined us, I did that first segment playing some of the people he talked to. The vast majority that he talked to would read a petition, a fake petition, saying, I want to ban free speech. I want to ban criticizing Obama and anyone that opposes the New World Order. We'll actually read that petition here on air today. But Mark Dice of the Resistance, it's good to have you with us. The Resistance Manifesto, the Illuminati Facts and Fiction, the New World Order, Facts and Fiction are the books. And he's had 2 different versions of Resistance Manifesto. And MarkDice.com, of course, is the website. Our websites are Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. And make no mistake, we are on the cutting edge, the front lines of resistance to this New World Order. Mark, I tell you, I have never seen anything as stunningly powerful as what you did out there, showing how those people would sign a petition to ban the First Amendment.
Yeah, and, a lot of people think that I've just cherry-picked a lot of these people. I left almost everybody in there that we talked to. One, I edited out and I didn't show because I burst out laughing as soon as I started talking to them about the petition. I couldn't contain myself. And one other lady, just for length, I left out. And, my other petition, this is a third in a series of petitions that I've done, and this is by far the most shocking one. And some people in the comments say, oh, well, they just signed the petition because they didn't want to be bothered. And even if that were true, that's...
No, you read it to them, and that one guy says, I agree.
Yeah,
we need to... No, they read it. Listen, see, that's the denial. They're in denial about the flu being a hoax, man-made global warming being a hoax, the WMDs being a hoax, 9/11 being a hoax, the banker bailout is a hoax. I mean, people just can't believe that stuff is going on, even when it's admitted.
No, and even the one guy at the very end that stopped signing it as soon as I mentioned it would repeal the First Amendment. I warmed him up by saying it would help to stop the hate speech. He starts signing it, and then I'm just coming up with the most ridiculous stuff I can think of off the top of my head.
And I can see you fighting back, laughing every time. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm stumbling over my words, and I had to dumb myself down because I just couldn't believe. I was trying to think of the most ridiculous things that I could think of, and I just kept saying them. The one guy at the end, I said, what this would do is repeal the First Amendment. He stops his pen right in his tracks, and he scratches his name off, and he says, I don't think so, I'm not going to sign. And then I start arguing with him. I said, well, why not? I mean, this would be a good thing. And he said, he points to the petition at CATFA.org, this phony organization, Citizens Against the First Amendment that I said we were with. And he said, I'll do some research on you guys. So either this guy was so brain dead that he thought that he had to go and do some research to see if he was with Citizens Against the First Amendment, or he was so cowardly that he couldn't stand up for what was right in the face of what was a complete lie.
And then one lady says she doesn't want to get rid of free speech, but she does want to get rid of the Second Amendment.
Well, and I almost convinced her to change her mind, because you could see her just mindlessly, like a bobblehead, just nodding and agreeing with me when I'm making these phony sales pitches as to why we should repeal this. And I think the only reason why she didn't do it is because I noticed this later, that she was wearing, I believe it's a shirt from a local Christian church. And so she's probably a right-wing person, doesn't like Obama. And so when I started saying that it would stop criticism of Obama, I don't think she liked that very much. So, if it would have been somebody else, a different president, perhaps she would have signed it. But none of these people, it shows that they're so brain-dead that half of them don't even know what the First Amendment was. They didn't even ask me, what is the First Amendment? Why would you want to do that? And then they wanted to support speech to stop people people from saying mean things. We can't have people saying mean things. It's completely absurd. I can't believe it. And I can't believe that the video hasn't gone more viral than it is. But as we know, the mainstream media wants to keep people dumbed down, so they can't be showing people the just how lost society really is. Maybe this is only California, but this is in a pretty affluent neighborhood. This is in a place where the average home, I think the minimum home is $500,000 to $600,000 minimum. I mean, some tiny little shack in the middle of nowhere, $500,000. This is a nice, educated area. I mean, I can't imagine if I would have done this, inland where I live.
Who do you think the scariest one was? I mean, I think that middle-aged kind of hippie guy, he was the scariest because he really read it and he said, I agree, we need to shut them down. It
says in bold print, repeal the First Amendment. And then at the end of the video, I read the text, just a short little 3-sentence text that says that we need to stop people from criticizing Obama. They're holding him back from creating the New World Order, and those kinds of protections aren't needed in today's society. And he read through it. He put his finger, you can see him reading it line by line. And that's why there was a little bit of dead air there. And he actually read it. And then I made sure, I said, you read this, right? You're okay with that? And he said, I don't disagree with that. It's unbelievable.
Because it's Obama. He's a fake liberal caught up in that false paradigm. So, yeah, let's ban these right-wingers. But we heard the same thing from Michael Savage and Michael Reagan. When Michael Reagan said, murder Mark Dice, I'll give you the gun, the ammo, I'll pay you to murder him. I mean, it wasn't a more clear solicitation of murder. And the FBI said that's okay. That's all right. He's allowed to say, kill Mark Dice. So we see the same thing from right-wingers that worship the Republican Party. They say ban anybody that disagrees with Bush's speech. And the Obama supporters say ban the right-winger speech. And so basically you've got more than half the public that's ready to ban free speech in the United States. I mean, that shows you the type of brainwashing and all the MTV specials and the college and high school education where all they talk about is hate, 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 hate. And now we have Obama cybersecurity chief resigning, saying the Pentagon's taking it over. Obama comes out and says, I may have to shut down free speech on the web. Cass Sunstein, his regulation czar that implements all this, says they're going to do it. Italy is in mainstream news announcing you've got to register to be able to write anything on the internet with the government, pre-approve it with them. Banning websites extrajudicially in Australia. They say we're taking the Chinese model. Bill Gates, head of Microsoft, says he likes what China's doing, doesn't have a problem with it, helped design the system for him. He's now running the NSA takeover system. They are really coming after our Second Amendment. Now, the hate crime law passed. That federalizes local police, creates special thought police commissars to track what people are saying. The MIAC Homeland Security reports say gun owners, conservatives, libertarians, returning veterans, that we're the real target of Homeland Security. Provocateurs are out at every Tea Party, sound cannons at G20. I mean, they are really coming after us.
And this is actually going on in other countries as well. I mean, in my new book, there's an example of a woman in Britain who wrote a letter to her city council expressing her displeasure that a gay pride parade was going to be going through her neighborhood, and 2 police officers showed up at her house and threatened to arrest her. There's a guy in Canada that put out an ad in the newspaper quoting some Bible verses, and he was actually fined. He had to pay 4 people who complained $1,500 each because they felt that it incited hatred.
And they're now calling in Europe and in the United States to make it illegal to deny man-made climate change. I mean, they're openly announcing it.
Well, Google recently revealed a blogger's name. This woman had a blog about the New York social scene, and she called one particular supermodel a skank. Not exactly the worst word in the world. And this woman sued Google, and they revealed the woman blogger's name, and now she's being sued for millions of dollars for defamation for calling this woman a name that you hear on the playground every day at school.
But, I mean, I think, I don't know the actual street definition or urban definition of skank, but doesn't that just mean like somebody who dresses scantily like a slut?
I think so. I mean, it's not one of the 7 dirty words that's not allowed on television. It's certainly not a popular word, but it's not very defaming, I think. But
well, I don't even know about that case, but, I mean, more and more we see this happening. I remember 6 years ago I interviewed Robin Page, BBC TV host of One Man and His Dog. He just goes to different small towns and eats their food and drinks their beer, and he walks around with a TV camera. And he was at a rural affairs meeting where they're shutting down hunting and other community events, and he said, look, we, the rural people, deserve the same rights as Muslims and homosexuals, and they arrested him saying the word homosexual was hateful.